Good morning, all of you. I'll be discussing about developmental activities going on and how we can ensure that development is sustainable. For that, we have to have a mechanism known as environmental impact assessment. Development and environment are two faces of the same coin. We have to have development, no doubt, but not at the cost of environment. So we have to have development in such a way that our environment is deteriorated minimum. There will be impacts beneficial, there will be impacts, adverse impacts of any developmental activity. So we have to ensure that adverse impacts are minimized, and of course we will be welcoming the beneficial impacts. For example, we are going to construct a road from X place to Y place. We may have to remove some of the trees, and during construction some negative impacts will also be there, like air pollution, noise pollution, generation of solid waste, water pollution may also be there. So, and even after construction of the completion of the project, during construction and operation phases, there may be some negative impacts. So that we have to bring it to the minimum by adopting some mitigation measures. That is the exercise we conduct under the umbrella term environmental impact assessment. As man's knowledge of his environment increased, there has been a desire for more comfortable way of living. As the number of people increased, more and more natural resources were consumed in the process of satisfying the rapidly growing needs of the habitat. Every developmental activity has some impact on the environment. Development and environment both are considered as two sides of the same coin. In the present scenario, the human as it is developed cannot live without the developmental activities for meeting his needs. Consequently, there is a need to harmonize developmental activities in such a way that environment is polluted least. Towards this endeavor, environmental impact assessment comes handy and provides a vehicle for pinpointing and quantifying the various factors which directly or indirectly tend their hands to the causing of effects on the environment in question. Environmental impact assessment is the process in which environmental factors are integrated into project planning and decision making to achieve ecologically sustainable development. EIA has been defined by Jan in a simple yet convincing way as a study of probable changes in the various socio-economic and biophysical characteristics and the environment which may result from a proposed or impending action. Best practice EIA identifies environmental risk, lessens conflicts by promoting community participation, minimizes adverse environmental effects, inform decision makers, and helps lay the base for environmentally sound projects. In the present scenario, it has been made mandatory for involving the people living around the any development project or any industry or any stakeholder may also give suggestions, and before any decision is taken we have to involve public at large. So public participation is mandatory. Benefits of integrating EIA have been observed in all stages of a project, from exploration and planning through construction, operations, decommissioning and beyond site closure. A systematic EIA of developmental projects in the planning stages of project concerning human habitat can go a long way on choosing an optimum and environmentally sound system. In India, the EIA requirement from major projects commenced in the year 1976 to 77, when the Planning Commission asked the then Department of Science and Technology to examine the River Valley project from environmental angle. The EIA is prepared by the project proponent for new projects as well as for extension, modernization of proposal for existing projects which are expected to change the ecosystem around the project site. The report is submitted to the Ministry of Environment and Forest for scrutiny by the department and the Environmental Appraisal Committee. Environmental impact assessment is a management tool to improve decision making and to ensure that development options are environmentally and socially sound and sustainable. Since 1950, growing environmental awareness has increasingly focused attention on the interaction between development activities and their consequences. It is desirable to ensure that the development options under consideration are sustainable. To be sustainable, development must possess both economical and ecological sustainability. The procedure for environmental appraisal of developmental projects has been standardized, and an updated questionnaire for collection and assessment of environment data in various development sectors has been published. Ministry of Environment and Forest has identified various sectors for which EIA is mandatory, and for a specific project we have to submit the proposal, and the questionnaires are also updated on the ministry's website. We have to fill the questionnaire and then submit along with the proposal. To promote transparency and wider dissemination of information, Ministry has started posting details of clearances issued on the Ministry's website. As a result, all stake as well as pending development projects holders, including local people and various NGO groups, can keep a watch on compliance of stipulated safeguard measures. From 2006 onwards, public hearing meeting means involving public has become mandatory. Public is given opportunity to raise their voice, to give their suggestions orally or in writing. They can give their opinion, and their opinions will be recorded, not only recorded, but every proceeding will be videographed, and we have to submit a VCD along with the proposal EIA report. And there have been instances in the past that once the public hearing meeting was convened, public raised certain issues. It was not given green signal, but the public hearing meeting was again convened after 6 months or so. So public involvement has become mandatory in the present scenario. Objectives of environmental impact assessment, and they can be categorized into 7 parts. To identify the adverse environmental problems that may be expected to occur, to identify the environmental benefits and disbenefits of the project, as well as its economics and environmental acceptability to the community, to incorporate into development actions appropriate mitigation measures, to identify critical environmental problems which require further studies and or monitoring, to examine and select the best optional alternative from the various relevant options available, to involve the public in the decision making process related to the environment, to assist all parties involved in development and environmental affairs to understand their roles, responsibilities, and overall relationship with one another. We can take a illustration. Say we have to construct a road from Chandigarh to Panchkula. Option A could be we have to cross the river. The option B could be from the thickly populated area we have to make our road. The option C could be from the forest area we have to make a road. And of course, fourth option could be from the cantonment area or military area we have to make a. So we have 4 or 5 alternatives. We have to make an exercise, thorough exercise, quantifying the beneficial as well as adverse impacts of each alternative, and the one giving the minimum adverse impact we may recommend. So like that, for each developmental activity we can have various alternatives. The clearance is given maybe for stipulated conditions we have to fulfill. Say we are constructing some road, we have uprooted some trees while constructing the road. So under mitigation plan, we have to see that those endangered species of plants and animals, they are suitably, those plants are grown suitably at suitable and convenient place. Say people are displaced because of some developmental activity, so we have to rehabilitate them suitably. Some industry given clearance on the conditions that you will be installing STP before you discharge your effluent to the nearby water bodies. Say for few months you have installed STP, and after that it is not working. So continuous monitoring has to be there that whether you are continuously fulfilling the stipulated conditions or not. The EIA focuses on the predictions of environmental impacts and determining whether a particular development activity should be permitted or not in view of the potential impacts on the environmental quality. EIA as a planning tool, environmental control carries the negative connotation of preservation and costly protection, conflicting with the urgent need to develop. Hence, it is viewed as an inappropriate need to extravaganza in developing countries. The main aim and objective of EIA is to select the best alternative through which the adverse impacts on the environment system could be nullified or minimized without compromising with the defined objective of developmental activities of the project. Corrective actions can cost much more than preventive measures. Accordingly, consideration to the environmental aspect of development not a loss but a gain, as remedial actions at the future date will cost considerably more and the damage done may be irreparable. Any development requires not only the monetary cost benefits but also an impact assessment to look into its environmental effects. In accordance with the EIA notification 1994, if any person who desires to undertake any new project or expansion or modernization of any existing industry or project shall have to seek environmental clearances from Ministry of Environment and Forest. For most of the industries projects, the limit is 50 crores and for others it is 1 crore. In addition, environmental clearance from central government is required if any of the development projects, irrespective whether it is listed in EIA notification or not, is falling within ecological sensitive fragile areas notified by Ministry of Environment and Forest. Project proponent need to submit detailed EIA report to the ministry for seeking environmental clearances, which is accorded through appraisal committee subject to certain conditions. However, industries projects not falling within the ambit of EIA notification have to approach only State Pollution Control Board for seeking NOC of the permission to commission it on the basis of assessment of quantity and quality of the pollutant to be generated by the proposed unit as well as efficacy of the control measures proposed by investor to meet the prescribed standards. The implementation of these conditions stipulations is monitored at field level by regional offices of Ministry of Environment and Forest. In every state we have the concerned State Pollution Control Board, or in UT we have pollution control committees. They prescribe the norms or the limit standards they have prescribed. Say for air pollution, for noise pollution, they have prescribed certain standards. So we have to ensure that our activities relating to pollution, environmental issues are within those limits prescribed by concerned State Pollution Control Board. Say our industry, half of the portion of the industry is in Punjab, half is in Himachal Pradesh. we will have to comply the standards prescribed by both the pollution control board of respective state. And if we have to convene the public hearing meeting, again we have to convene the public hearing meeting in the proximity of the project area, and standards to be prescribed will be of respective state pollution control board. The respective state pollution control board member secretary will convene the public hearing meeting at different places, different timings. Phases of EIA. The various phases of EIA process in India. Firstly, screening is done to see whether a project requires environmental clearance as per the statutory notification. Screening is followed by scoping, which is a process of detailing the terms of reference of EIA. Quantifiable impacts are to be assessed on the basis of magnitude, prevalence, frequency and duration. And for non-quantifiable impact, significance is commonly determined through the socio-economic criteria. Baseline data means before the project is established, what is the existing scenario, what is the air pollution there, what is the noise pollution there. So before the project is called baseline data. Baseline data describing the existing environmental status of the identified study area is also collected. Impacts are predicted from the environmental consequences of the significant aspects of the project and its alternatives. We have to collect the baseline status of the environment, and we have to predict the scenarios during construction. We have to predict the scenarios after 5 years. We have to, all predictions we have to make. Say we are constructing the road. What will be the environmental scenario after 5 years when the road is complete and traffic is in full swing? What will be the scenario of 10 years? What will be the scenario of 15 years? Likewise, we have to predict, and we have to monitor also. The X value was quantified for air pollution after 5 years, whether it is actually exceeding after 5 years or within the permissible limits. So for that we have to continuously monitor, and if it is exceeding, then immediately we have to bring it down. We have to adopt some remedial measures. The various impacts of the project with air, noise, water, land, biological and socio-economic should be assessed. For every project, possible alternatives should be identified and environmental attributes compared. Alternatives should then be ranked for selection of the best environmental options for optimum economic benefits to the community at large. Once alternatives have been reviewed, a mitigation plan should be drawn up for the selected options and is supplemented with an environmental management plan to guide the proponent towards environmental improvement. An EIA report is to be prepared which provides clearing information to the decision makers on the different environmental scenarios without the project, with the project, and with project alternatives. The important part of EIA is that public must be informed and consulted on a proposed development after completion of EIA report. Whoever is the project proponent, the owner of the project, he has to prepare the EIA report by hiring a consultant. Then he has to submit it to the regulatory authority. From 2006 onwards, it has become mandatory to educate public. We have to convene public hearing meeting. The respective member secretary of the State Pollution Control Board will convene the public hearing meeting, for which proper notification will be given in the newspaper. Anyone likely to be affected by the proposed project is entitled to have access to the executive summary of the EIA. An opportunity to the public to make oral or written suggestions to the State Pollution Control Board is to be given. Monitoring enables the regulatory agency to review the validity of predictions and the conditions of implementation of the environmental management plan. Say the condition was stipulated while giving clearance that you are cutting so many trees for construction of road. The regulatory authority will see that you have fulfilled those conditions or not, for which monitoring is conducted. After the consultation between the project proponent and the impact assessment authority, a decision on environmental clearance is arrived at. In order to ensure that the commitments made are complied with and to observe whether the predictions made in the EIA reports are correct or not. Monitoring during construction and operation. Requirement of prior environmental clearance. The following project or activity shall require prior environmental clearance from the concerned regulatory authority, which shall herein after referred to be as central government in the Ministry of Environment and Forest for matters falling under category A in the schedule, and state level the State Environmental Impact Assessment Authority for matters falling under category B in the said schedule. Before any construction work or preparation of land by the project management, except for securing the land, is started on the project or activity. In the 2006 notification, the ministry has categorized as project falling under category A, project falling under category B. So category A, if the project is falling in category A, then the EIA report is to be submitted to the Ministry of Environment and Forest for clearances, and if it is falling in under category B, then we have to we have to submit the proposal to the respective state pollution control board. All decisions of the SEIAA shall be taken in a meeting and shall ordinarily be unanimous, provided that in case a decision is taken by majority, the details of views for and against it shall be clearly recorded in the minutes and a copy thereof sent to Ministry of Environment and Forest. Categorization of project and activities. All project and activities are broadly categorized into two categories, category A and category B, based on the spatial extent of potential impacts and potential impact on human health and natural and man-made resources. All project or activity included as category A in the schedule, including expansion and modernization of existing projects or activities and change in product mix, shall require prior environmental clearance from the central government in the Ministry of Environment and Forest on the recommendation of expert appraisal committee to be constituted by central government for the purposes of this notification. We have two stages. One is the regulatory authority we have in center and we have in state, and they work on the recommendation of expert appraisal committee that is existing at center as well as the state. Expert appraisal committee is constituted by central government, though names are nominated by the respective state government, but the final approval is given and the body is constituted by central government. In the absence of duly constituted SEIAA or SEAC, a category B project shall be considered at the central level as a category B project shall be substituted. The EAC and SEAC shall be reconstituted after every 3 years. The authorized member of the EAC and SEAC concerned may inspect any site connected with the project or activity in respect of which the prior environmental clearance is sought for the purposes of screening or scoping or appraisal, with prior notice of at least 7 days to the applicant, who shall provide necessary facilities for the inspection. The EAC and SEACs shall function on the principle of collective responsibility. The chairperson shall endeavour to reach a consensus in each case, and if consensus cannot be reached, the view of the majority shall prevail. Stages in the environmental clearance process for new projects. The environmental clearance process for new projects will comprise of a maximum of 4 stages, all of which may not apply to particular cases as set forth below in this notification. These 4 stages in sequential order are: Stage 1, screening only for category B projects and activities. Stage 2 is scoping. Stage 3, public consultation, and next stage is appraisal. Screening. In case of category B projects or activities, this stage will entail the scrutiny of an application seeking prior environmental clearance made in Form 1 by the concerned state level expert appraisal committee for determining whether or not project or activity requires further environmental studies for preparation of an environmental impact assessment for its appraisal prior to the grant of environmental clearance, depending upon the nature and location, the specifics of the project. The project requiring an environmental impact assessment report shall be termed category B1 and remaining projects shall be termed category B2 and will not require an environmental impact assessment report. For categorization of projects into B1 or B2 except item 8B, the Ministry of Environment and Forest shall issue appropriate guidelines from time to time. This is the copy of the notification wherein the list of the project or activity requiring prior environmental clearance. Notification issued by Ministry of Environment and Forest. We can have this category A and category B. So the limit of the project also given, whether it will fall under category A or category B. Like that, the ministry has given numbers for different activities, 8. So accordingly, we have to approach either the State Pollution Control Board or ministry, depending upon the magnitude of the project. And the here is building and construction project council. Scoping. The expert appraisal committee under Ministry of Environment and Forest or SEIAA on the basis of information furnished by the applicant in the Form 1 including proposed terms of reference, the site visit by a subgroup of expert appraisal committee only if considered necessary by the expert appraisal committee will determine the detailed comprehensive terms of reference addressing all relevant environmental concerns for the preparation of environmental impact assessment. The terms of reference will be conveyed to the applicant by the expert appraisal committee within 60 days of the receipt of Form 1 and other documents. If the terms of reference are not finalized and conveyed to the applicant within 60 days of the receipt of the Form 1 and other documents, the terms of reference suggested by the applicant will be deemed as final terms of reference for carrying out environmental impact assessment studies. The approved terms of reference will be displayed on the website of Ministry of Environment and Forest. Public consultation refers to the process by which concern of local affected persons and other who have plausible stake in the environmental impact of the project or activity are ascertained with a view to taking into account all the material concerns in the project or activity designed as appropriate. All category A and category B1 project or activities shall undertake public consultation. Highway projects requiring environmental clearance are subjected to environmental public hearing as part of EIA process under EIA notification 2006. The public hearing shall be arranged in a systematic, time-bound and transparent manner, ensuring widest possible public participation at the project site or in its close proximity. District-wise by the concerned State Pollution Control Board or the Union Territory Pollution Control Committee. We have to, in accordance with the notification, we have to give wide publicity through the media, the newspaper, where the newspaper is not reaching, some other methods we have to adopt so that public at large is informed about the developmental activities, proposed developmental activities. Procedure. Here the important point is we have to adhere to the time. A specific timeline has to be adhered to. Procedure for conduct of public hearing. The public hearing shall be arranged in a systematic, time-bound and transparent manner, ensuring widest possible public participation at the project site or in its close proximity district-wise by the concerned State Pollution Control Board or the Union Territory Pollution Control Committee. Say our industry is coming in Punjab in 2 or 3 different districts. At each district separately we have to conduct the public hearing meeting at different places in the close proximity of the project area, different timings and different venues. All we have to give well in advance. We have to inform the public by giving notification in the newspaper. The process. Applicant shall make a request through a simple letter to the member secretary of the State Pollution Control Board or Union Territory Pollution Control Committee in whose jurisdiction the project is located to arrange the public hearing within the prescribed statutory period. In case the project site is covering more than one district or state or union territory, the public hearing is mandated in each district, state or union territory in which the project is located, and the applicant shall make separate request to each concerned State Pollution Control Board or Union Territory Pollution Control Committee for holding the public hearing as per this procedure. The applicant shall enclose with the letter of request at least 10 hard copies and an equivalent number of soft copies of the draft EIA report with the generic structure given in the Appendix 3, including the summary environmental impact assessment report in English and in the official language of the state or the local language, prepared strictly in accordance with the terms of reference communicated after copying. Simultaneously, the applicant shall arrange to forward copies, one hard and one soft, of the above draft EIA report along with the summary EIA report to the following authorities or offices within whose jurisdiction the project will be located: District Magistrate, District Collector, Deputy Commissioner, Jilla Parishad or Municipal Corporation or Panchayat Union, District Industry Office, Urban Local Bodies, concerned Regional Office of the Ministry of Environment and Forest. On receiving the draft Environmental Impact Assessment report, the above mentioned authorities, except the Regional Office of Ministry of Environment and Forest, shall arrange to widely publicize it within their respective jurisdictions, requesting the interested persons to send their comments to the concerned regulatory authority. They shall also make available the draft EIA report for inspection electronically or otherwise to the public during normal office hour till the public hearing is over. You can have it. You can can have a copy of this public hearing notice, how it is appearing. This is issued by Punjab Pollution Control Board. We call it public notice. It is for the information of all concerned that the Department of Industry and Commerce has submitted application for conduct of public hearing. This notice is issued by respective member secretary of the concerned pollution control board. In this, the important aspect is where the public hearing will be conducted. The location is given, area, date of public hearing and time of public hearing. It is very important. And again, it is, say, this date is given when it appears. From that date, we have to see that within 1 month it is convened. So we can have a look here. See this issued in the Hindustan Times 5/7/14, and the date of public hearing is 5/8/14, like that. And where the copies of the summary of EIA report will be available is also given, listed 6 offices. Anybody interested, they can go there and have access to the summary of EIA report. The State Pollution Control Board or the Union Territory Pollution Control Committee concerned shall also make similar arrangement for giving publicity about the project within the state of the Union Territory and make available the summary of the draft environmental impact assessment report for inspection in select offices or public libraries or any other suitable location, etc. They shall also additionally make available a copy of the draft environmental impact assessment report to the above 5 authorities' offices as given in the para 2.2. Notice for public hearing notice, copy, a sample of the public hearing meeting notice. We have seen how it has appeared in the newspaper. So we have to see that one in national daily and one in vernacular language we have to give a notice. And additionally, where the newspaper cannot reach in remote areas, we have to make effort to give wider publicity through other modes. Notice of public hearing. The member secretary of the concerned State Pollution Control Board or UTPCC shall finalize the date, time and exact venue of the conduct of public hearing meeting within 7 days of the date of receipt of the draft environmental impact assessment report from the project proponent and advertise the same in one major national daily and one regional vernacular daily official state language. A minimum notice period of 30 days shall be provided to the public for furnishing their responses. The advertisement shall also inform the public about the places or offices where the public could assess the draft environmental impact assessment report and the summary environmental impact assessment report before the public hearing. In places where the newspaper do not reach, the competent authority should arrange to inform the local public about the public hearing by other means such as by way of beating of drums as well as advertisement announcement on radio, television. No postponement of the date, time, venue of the public hearing shall be undertaken unless some untoward emergency situation occurs and then only on the recommendation of the concerned district magistrate, district collector, deputy commissioner, the postponement shall be notified to the public through the same national and regional vernacular dailies, and also prominently displayed at all the identified offices by the concerned State Pollution Control Board or Union Territory Pollution Control Committee. In the above exceptional circumstances, fresh date, time and venue for the public consultations shall be decided by the member secretary of the concerned Pollution Control Board only in consultation with the district magistrate, district collector, deputy commissioner and notified afresh as per procedure under 3.1. Supervision and presiding over the hearing. The district magistrate / district collector, deputy commissioner or his or her representative not below the rank of an additional district magistrate assisted by a representative of State Pollution Control Board shall supervise and preside over the entire public hearing process. Videography. This is very important aspect of public hearing meeting, which has been made mandatory, and this aspect has been added after 2006 notification. The State Pollution Control Board or UTPCC shall arrange to video film the entire proceeding. A copy of the videotape or a CD shall be enclosed with the public hearing proceeding while forwarding it to the regulatory authority concerned. Proceedings. The attendance of all those who are present at the venue shall be noted and annexed with the final proceeding. There shall be no quorum required for attendance for starting the proceeding. A representative of the applicant shall initiate the proceedings with a presentation on the project and the summary EIA report. Persons present at the venue shall be granted the opportunity to seek information or clarification on the project from the applicant. The summary of the public hearing proceeding, accurately reflecting all the views and concern expressed, shall be recorded by the representative of the State Pollution Control Board and read over to the audience at the end of the proceedings, explaining the content in the local / vernacular language, and the agreed minutes shall be signed by the district magistrate. A statement of the issues raised by the public and the comments of the applicant shall also be prepared in the local language or the official state language as the case may be, and in English, and an annex to the proceedings. The proceedings of the public hearing shall be conspicuously displayed at the office of the Panchayat within whose jurisdiction the project is located, office of the concerned Jilla Parishad, district magistrate, district collector, deputy commissioner and the State Pollution Control Board. The State Pollution Control Board shall also display the proceeding on its website for general information. Comments, if any, on the proceeding may be sent directly to the concerned regulatory authority and the applicant concerned. Time period for completion of public hearing, which is very important. The public hearing shall be completed within a period of 45 days from the date of receipt of the request letter from the applicant. Thereafter, the State Pollution Control Board concerned shall send the public hearing proceedings to the concerned regulatory authority within 8 days of the completion of the public hearing. Simultaneously, a copy will also be provided to the project proponent. If the State Pollution Control Board fails to hold the public hearing within the stipulated 45 days, the central government in Ministry of Environment and Forest for Category A project or activity and the state government or union territory for Category B project or activity at the request of the SEIAA shall engage any other agency or authority to complete the process as per procedure laid down in this notification. Procedure prescribed for appraisal. The applicant shall apply to the concerned regulatory authority through a simple communication enclosing the following document where public consultation are mandatory. Final environmental impact assessment report, 20 hard copies and 1 soft copy. A copy of the videotape or CD of the public hearing proceeding. A copy of the final layout plan, 20 copies. A copy of the project feasibility report, 1 copy. The final EIA report and the other relevant documents submitted by the applicant shall be scrutinized in the office within 30 days from the date of its receipt by the concerned regulatory authority, strictly with reference to the terms of reference, and inadequacies notice shall be communicated electronically or otherwise in a single set to the members of the EAC/SEAC, enclosing a copy each of the final EIA report, including the public hearing proceeding and other public responses received, along with a copy of Form 1 or Form 1A and scheduled date of the EAC/SEAC meeting for considering the proposal. Where a public consultation is not mandatory, the appraisal shall be made on the basis of the prescribed application Form 1 and EIA report in the case of all project and activities other than item 8 of the schedule. In the case of item 8 of the schedule, considering its unique project cycle, the EAC or SEAC concerned shall appraise all category B project or activities on the basis of Form 1, Form 1A and conceptual plan, and make recommendations on the project regarding grant of environmental clearance or otherwise, and also stipulate the conditions for environmental clearance. Every application shall be placed before the EAC, SEAC and its appraisal completed within 60 days of its receipt with requisite documents details in the prescribed manner. The applicant shall be informed at least 15 days prior to the scheduled date of the EAC meeting for considering the project proposal. The minutes of the EAC meeting shall be finalized within 5 working days of the meeting and displayed on the website of the concerned regulatory authority. In case the project or activity is recommended for grant of EC, then the minutes shall clearly list out the specific environmental safeguards and conditions. In case the recommendations are for rejection, the reason for the same shall also be explicitly stated. Content of the summary environmental impact assessment. The summary EIA shall be a summary of the full EIA report condensed to 10 A4 size pages at the maximum. It should necessarily cover in brief the following chapters of the full EIA report: project description, description of the environment, anticipated environmental impacts and mitigation measures, environmental monitoring program, additional studies, project benefits, environment management plan. Composition of the sector/project specific expert appraisal committee for category A project and the state UT level expert appraisal committee for category B project to be constituted by the central government. The expert appraisal committee and the state UT level expert appraisal committee shall consist of only professional and expert fulfilling the following eligibility criteria. And this is the eligibility criteria given in the notification. They have prescribed the degree in the respective field and the minimum experience. Expert: a professional fulfilling the above eligibility criteria with at least 15 years of relevant experience in the field or with an advanced degree in a concerned field and at least 10 years of relevant experience. Age preferably should be below 70 years. Then we have environmental quality expert in measurement and monitoring, analysis and interpretation of data in relation to environmental quality. Then we have a sectoral expert in project management or management of process operations facilities in the relevant sectors. Environmental impact assessment process expert in conducting and carrying out environmental impact assessment and preparation of environmental management plans and other management plan, and who have wide expertise and knowledge of predictive techniques and tools used in the EIA process. Risk assessment expert, life science expert in floral and faunal management. The membership of the EIAC shall not exceed 15 regular member. However, the chairperson may co-opt an expert as a member in a relevant field for a particular meeting of the committee. The chairperson shall be an outstanding and experienced environmental policy expert or expert in management or public administration with wide experience in the relevant development sector. The chairperson shall nominate one of the members as the vice chairperson, who shall preside over the EAC in the absence of the chairman or chairperson. A representative of the Ministry of Environment and Forest shall assist the committee as its secretary. The maximum tenure of a member, including chairperson, shall be for 2 terms of 3 years each. The chairman members may not be removed prior to expiry of the tenure without cause and proper inquiry. There are various techniques for conducting the EIA. These are various techniques. The one which is prominent is the matrix method. The project activities and environmental attributes are presented in a tabular column. These matrices provide cause-effect relationship and impacts on environmental components. Any impact may be classified or declassified as adverse or beneficial, significant or insignificant, minor or major, to indicate the nature of impact. When the impact is marked as significant, adverse, major, yes, no, or 1, 0, it will picturize the magnitude of the event or the relative differences between two impacts. Magnitude and importance of impacts may be evaluated on the basis of weightage/rating. ये कैसे है? अच्छा जी. We can take up one illustration of this matrix method for understanding. An important application of the matrix method is to evaluate alternatives from the point of view of decision making. Let us take a highway having 4 alternative routes. Which one would be best from environmental point of view is to be decided. Consider the following table. Highway alternatives are shown on tops of the column and environmental impact on rows beginning. So this is the illustration we are having, where we are having this 4 alternatives and the impact area for each highway alternatives are also given. We have to select one out of these 4 alternatives available to us. So we can have a look for alternative 1, 2, 3, 4, market access, level of service, provision of public service, police response time, minutes, and within bracket we are given rank, disruption of homes, numbers, disruption of business units, noise at 100 feet. So like that we are given. Then in addition to magnitude given in this brackets, we have to complete the matrix we need importance, weight to the impact area. Let us say that through a public survey in the affected region, the weight assigned to the 7 impact areas are as follows. Market access 4 in a scale of 1 to 10, level of service 5 in a scale of 1 to 10, then provision of public service 7 in a 10, disruption of business 10 in a scale of 1 to 10, then noise we have 6, and similarly users cost 1. So we have to complete the matrix by multiplying this. Following the standard practice of the matrix method, we have to compute the product of impact ranks and importance weights, that is Mij, Wij. I is 1 to 2, 1 to 4. These are shown below. Having the previous table, for each alternative we have alternative 1, 4 into 4 for first impact area, and similarly for second impact area, third impact area, like that. And at the last we have to total it. For alternative 1 we have 98, alternative 2 we have 83, alternative 3 137, and for last alternative we have 110. Considering the nature of highway impact, a lower impact score is better than the higher one. In this example we have lowest total environmental score for highway alternative, this is 2, so it is to be selected for implementation. We have certain limitations for conducting this EIA, although it has become mandatory, but still we have to encourage the people to go for EIA. Limitations and availability of EIA. The complexity of environmental management problems are vast, and the design and implementation of solutions for these problems are difficult. The major limitation force in incorporating EIA into the planning phase of a project are the additional cost incurred in its preparation, delays in the implementation of the project, and the lack of manpower and expertise in the developing countries for assessing the impact. One main reason for being EIA expensive in developing countries is due to the limited technical and social database upon which impact project can be made. As a result, large amount of basic data information must be collected, and this is perhaps the single most expensive and time consuming endeavor in the preparation of an EIA report. These expenses can be considerably reduced, and the scientific quality and viability of the project reports for decision making increases only if the essential baseline data information is available on a broader scale on which EIA reports can base the impact projection on. Ideally, EIA should be incorporated into the overall development plan of a project so as to achieve. Some project activities are of environmental concern, but suitable measures can be incorporated to minimize the effects of physical and social environment caused by various project activities. EIA is a report submitted along with a project proposal to show that the project is environment friendly. The EIA procedure, though helping in identifying the affected areas, involve time-consuming procedures and needs pooling of experts from diverse fields. The notion of EIA creates hurdles in the implementation of projects or developmental activities should be shed for an inkling of the side effects that arise will help in taking necessary remedial measures. In context of developing countries, it is essential that general guidelines for the preparation of EIA reports be developed, supplemented by guidelines specific from each development sector. Such guidelines should be practical from the viewpoint of application, comprehensive and thorough to cover all related aspects having utility to actual development project and relevant to the needs and reality of the developing countries. Provide for monitoring programs to measure the level of plan implementation and the degree of effectiveness of the guidelines should have environmental projections provision. Ministry of Environment and Forest, in their notification, they have given the timeline for completion of each activity. We have taken one specific project, say road project, and the same is given here in the form of flow chart. And this is the for category A, category B, this 60 days is the given. Submit the application in form 1 of EIA notification 2006 plus pre-feasibility report to Ministry of Environment and Forest. Then after 60 days, again 60 days for scoping by EIC, then 6 months for finalizing the draft EIA. Like that, the flow chart is given for category A and category B. Like that, this is the second part of the flow chart. This is another sample copy of the public hearing notification issued by Haryana State Pollution Control Board. We can see here name of the unit and this date of public hearing, time of public hearing, venue of public hearing, which is prominent in the notification, this public notice. So like that, If you have any question, you may please